Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and we're looking at a puzzle that's been recommended by Stephen. Thank you for that, Stephen. It's apparently not had a vast amount of love on Logic Masters Germany, but apparently it's very entertaining. It's called Fallen Angels by Abdul the Killer, which is a name I think I know, although I didn't find him in the catalogue of our puzzles, so I think it's a debut by Abdul the Killer on the channel. I'm looking forward to giving it a go. We will do that in a moment. Now, it's got a negative constraint in it, which reminds me that coming up on March the 1st, a negative constraints Patreon reward pack of puzzles for you. Do check it out. Join us on Patreon if you haven't already. It's going to be good fun, and you'll have up until the 20th of March to enter the competition for solving those puzzles. We've also, of course, got all sorts of other content on Patreon. We've got all of our apps, which they include some negative constraint puzzles, but especially the Miracle app, actually, funnily enough, lots in that. And I guess the Knight's Move and stuff is a form of negative constraint, and that's in this as well. So I have Mr. Knight ready. He's going to be helping me as we go along today. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked back to today's main event, but there's also Sven's SUDOKU PAD in our merch. Check out all the links under the video to see all the stuff associated with the channel. But the first link is to Fallen Angels by Abdul the Killer. Now, let's read the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we are going to don't worry about the letters for now. We're going to be putting 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Cells containing values exactly 1 greater than an immediate neighbour, diagonal or orthogonal, within their box are shaded. All the shaded cells are given. So if we have a 6 here, then one of these cells is a 5, because that is a shaded cell. I suppose actually the way to look at it is, if that's a 5 and that's a 6, the 6 has to be shaded. And then because the 5 isn't shaded, 4 won't be in one of those cells. That's weird, isn't it? Okay, and it's only within their box. That was a very key phrase. So we're only considering each box separately when we're applying that rule. Okay, got it. Cells a Knight's Move apart cannot contain the same digit, so those two will not contain the same digit. That's a chess Knight's Move, as is that. And each letter represents a different digit, so F will be one letter, A another, etc. There are only 7 different letters represented in the puzzle, so 2 digits will be unrepresented by letters. Give it a try on the first link under the video. Stephen says it's not that hard. You can check the video length and see if I agree with him, I guess, by the end. I'm going to start the puzzle. Let's get cracking. I mean, what could we do? We could colour. We could colour L. 3 L's appear in the phrase Fallen Angels. So let's make L yellow. Yes, we can place yellow in box 5. It's got to be there. That one is on a Knight's Move from there. And the others are seen by horizontal or vertical Sudoku. Then, since we know G is not L, that is L in row 6. One of those 2 is L. I mean, I haven't thought about what L's number is yet. It hasn't really been relevant. One of those 2, in fact, I don't even know how we'll go there when we get there. I'm kind of stalling a bit now. One of those 3 is L, but I don't want to mark them up. But I don't know anything about numbers. I don't know that, I could carry on. I think the other letters which appear fewer times than L will be a bit less helpful in terms of colouring. I may be getting rid of this colouring soon. I think what I have to do is get out of that and think about numbers. But I don't know what. Now, at first when I read the rule, despite the fact that it specifically says immediate neighbours are diagonal or orthogonal, I was thinking about only orthogonal neighbours. And I was thinking here that this digit is touching I mean, you don't want to know what I was thinking that was wrong, but I was thinking there were sequences of numbers that ended in white cells. Yeah, I've just had a thought. The central cell in each box is always... Hang on, how is that not? Right, I've got it. I've got a digit. I was just thinking the central cell in each box is always going to be shaded because it's always going to be seeing it's lesser than one neighbour somewhere around it. Now that does apply unless it doesn't have a less than one neighbour. And this cell is not shaded, and therefore this cell is 1 and A is 1, which is alphabetically appropriate. And I've got a digit in the puzzle. That must be right. If this was not a 1, then say it was a 2, then 1 would have to appear somewhere and this would have to be shaded, but it's not shaded. I think I am going to get rid of yellow. I tell you what I'm going to do. I have a feeling I may need other colouring. What I'm going to do is label these cells as L. Let's enable the letter tool and call that L, because that's where L went. We worked that out. That's where L goes over there. Now, that may be dangerous. Maybe, okay, I've changed my mind. I'm just going to do it in the middle of the cell. The same height as the given L's over here. And then L is in one of those two, and I can corner mark that, and that's reasonable. I can follow this marking scheme, I think, without... Now, 1s. Those can't be 1s because they all see that cell, including the knight's move. One of those two is a 1, but 1 can never be shaded because it can never be touching its less than 1 number. So 1 is in one of those cells. That's... I thought that was going to be... Oh yes, 1 sees that by knight's move. This is the only unshaded cell left. Then that's the only unshaded cell left in box 6. That one in box 9 after we consider the knight's move from there. That one sees that by knight's move. That is not 1 because it's E and not A. So 1 is in one of those positions, those positions in box 8. Can't be there by knight's move, can't be there horizontally. It's got to be in a white cell. Those two both see that. That doesn't help. And 1 in the central box is in one of those two, but it's not in L because L is a different digit from A. So 1 is there, 1 is there, 1 is there, 1 is there. We've got all the 1s done. Now, is there any chance of moving this up to 2s? The trouble is a 2 touching a 1 will be grey. Okay, so this can't be a 2. Okay, I'm going to colour the cells that can't be 2s, and I'm going to start with 1s. Now, I'm going to choose a colour that I can still tell what's grey and what's not. So let's go with the blue. Not that any of those are grey. Now, 2 cannot be here because this cell would not be white. So anything touching a 1, even diagonally, that is white, I'm going to colour. That's quite interesting in box 7. Anything touching a 1 within its own box, remember. Now, 2 also can't be in a grey cell that in its box doesn't touch the 1. So that can't be 2. That can't be 2. None of those can be 2. None of those 3. That 1. All of these can't be 2. That's getting quite interesting. Those 2, that 1, I think that covers it. So they all go blue. Now, 2 is, right, L we have said is not 2 in box 2, so it's not 2 here either. E is not 2 in box 8, so it's not 2 either. We've only got one cell left for 2 in box 6. Now, those aren't 2. Lots of things aren't 2 as a result of finding an actual 2. That one as well. Sorry, that's the cell I was aiming at. N is not 2 because it's not 2 over here. L and G. Oh, G might be 2. L isn't. And that's a definite L. That's a definite L. 2 by knight's move from there sees those cells. And now one of these 2 is a 2. And that we found out where 2 is in column 7 with our blue colouring. That is going to spot an awful lot more cells in the puzzle, including by knight's move. That one as well. All of these now are not 2s. 2 is in one of those 2 positions, and one of those 2. Oh, one of those 2. Ah, it's only in one position in box 7. Oh, isn't that freaky? That's really good. As long as how did I colour that? I'm suspicious of myself here. When did I decide this wasn't? Oh, because it's white touching a 1. Yeah, all right. That's fine. So this is the only place for 2 in box 7. That sees this cell and that one. That's fixing 2 in 2 boxes. That's fixing, both of those look at the central cell and fix 2 in box 5. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. These are the unshaded. So it's unshaded now, of course. That's what I've been doing the whole time. It's odd that I suddenly can't remember it. Now we get this far. So 2 is in one of those 2 cells. I don't think knight's move affects that. Same for those. And then, so I don't get to finish off 2s, but that's been incredibly helpful. Right, now I can leave these 2s marking the grid and get rid of all the blue cells. And I could use blue again or another colour to have a play with 3s. So let's use another colour. Let's go with the bright green. I'm assuming I'll still be able to see that against the grey. Not quite so clearly, but anyway. Now, 3, we look at where 2s are. 3 cannot be in a white cell touching a 2 within its box. This is how this works. So I am right to do it this way, I think. I don't know. I mean, this feels right. There may be other ways to do this puzzle. Oh, by the way, 2 has appeared in these boxes, and it's not any of the given letters. So 2 is one of the 2 digits in the puzzle not represented by the letters of fangles or flanges, or rather fallen angels. That's interesting. We're only going to find one more letter that doesn't have one more digit that doesn't have a letter. Anyway, where was I? I was doing 3s that are either white that must touch the 2. Oh, that's interesting. This one counts, because if that was a 3, it would be on white and 2 would be there and touched by it. Right, also, white, 3 cannot be in a cell that is grey and not touching its 2 in the box. So I'm seeing if I can find some of them. Well, those 2 definitely, those 2 definitely, those 2 definitely. That's quite a few. Three could be L, which is interesting. No, it can't. Look, I've coloured L here, and that's a definite L. That's really helpful. So 3 can't be L, and that gets rid of 3 more cells. Now, where is 3? Which box is going to tell me? Or have we actually shot our bolt and run out? It's a pity that is available. Otherwise, it would definitely be down here somewhere. No, oh, hang on. Those can't be 3s. because they're grey and not touching 2. I must have forgotten to inspect box 5. Now 3 in box 3 in column 3 is either an F or an E. Right, what happens if 3 goes in E? I will tell you. Oh no. Look, if 3 is in E, I thought there was nowhere left in box 5, but there is. There's that cell. Then 3 would be in one of those. This is working quite well, so I suspect it's actually right. Okay, well, is there any way of ruling out 3 out of F? It's unlikely. Oh, don't say this method is going to peter out, because I was quite pleased with it. Or have I just not been smart enough with applying it in the upper boxes? Oh, there's only 2 positions for 3 in column 7. Hadn't noticed that before. It's interesting, but it's not very conclusive. I should just pursue the thought about E's, because that was quite interesting. It was working reasonably well, annoyingly. One of those 2 next to a 2, yeah, that would be fine. Then one of those 2, oh, that's quite interesting. So one of those 2, right, and not that. You see, I think that probably is going to be right, because it looks like it works. Oh, but if it's there, not there, not there, and then can't decide up the top. Oh, bother. Okay, let's just again inspect this cell and see if I can falsify that bit 3 somehow. That rules out these 2 cells, so those remain in box 1. I don't think that does me any good at all. Oh, hang on. L is not 3. We've covered some L's, and N is not 3. And I don't know about E. In fact, I rather suspect E is 3. But that gets rid of 2 more cells. Now, those 3 cells all see that one, including by knight's move. So that's gone. This can't be a 3, because it would make E a 3 there, but that would make E a 3 there, and then we'd have a knight's move problem. So that's gone. Now 3 is definitely in one of these 2 cells in the central column. If it was there, it would see both of these and make S into 3. And then that would make F into 3. That's beautiful. In fact, yes, S cannot be 3. Well, no, it's even more important. This cannot be 3 because it makes S into 3. And then the cell in column 4, which needs a 3, is F. And that would make both S and F into 3, which is not allowed. So that is not a 3. But I think I can also say that S is not a 3 because that does it on its own. So that's not a 3. Okay, 1 second, I'll be back with you. I've just got an interruption. Sorry about that, some home life things just happening. Now, we worked out where 3 was in the central box. It's there. So in goes 3. Now, those aren't 3, that's just Sudoku. S couldn't be 3, that's right. So one of these 2 is 3. Or do we know more from that one? Well, we do. We know a bit more. Those aren't. 3 is now up here somewhere in one of those 2 cells. And then it's in one of these 2. And I'm very strongly suspecting still that it's E. It's not there. Those 2, well, those 2 both see those 2. Those 2 both see that one. And they both see those. But we know it's in one of those. I don't know why I haven't marked 3 into one of those. That's out. One of these 3 cells is a... That being a 3, it forces that to be a 3 in 2 different ways. Okay, one of these... it's not quite finished. Come on, 3. 3 is either F or E. So actually, I knew it wasn't S by that method. I just never thought of using that. It was always F or E in column 4. I don't know why I didn't think of that being an actual decider as to how it was going to go. Now, I don't think it is F. So let's look at what happens if F is 3. Then one of those is a 3. Now, has anything... nothing's happened with 2s, has it? That's so annoying. And maybe there's some implication of the rule that I'm just not managing to process here. I think there could be. That one can't be a 3, of course. So... I'm getting a bit stuck. That's annoying. I don't really want to have to move on to 4s without having a bit more info about 3s, because if I have to pencil mark all these remaining cells that aren't green as possible 3s, well, those 3 all see that cell, so that's gone at least. Yes, I need to do something a bit more like that in other places. But I kind of done the boxes where I could see those. That's one of the less clear formations. Maybe there's a column or a row where it's now totally obvious where 3 goes, and I'm just being a numpty. That and one of those. I'm still very suspicious that E is 3. I haven't got any proof, so I really can't proceed on those grounds. Three could be there if 2 was there. Yeah, I don't think that breaks the rule. This being 3 would be white. That would have to be a 2. That would have to be a 2. That would have to be a 2. Would that do anything? Not really, actually. I feel like I'm missing something, though. I do have that strong feeling. If that's a 3, that's a 3, that's a 3. If that's a 3, that's a 3. Oh, one of these is a 3, because these 2 can't both be 3s in... Well, hang on. If that's a 3, that is a 3. No, I don't think my earlier suggestion was right. If that's a 3, that could be a 3. Just as much as that. Those 2 can't both be... I think I hadn't noticed this. I so want this not to be a 3. Just to get going. Okay, I've got to think about 3 being E again. I have to do that. Then it's in one of those 2. Oh, then it has to be in one of those 2. One of those 2. I've kind of been down this path before. It has to be there. Then it's there. And I mean, that just works. We even get a 3 in the corner that way. That is a grey cell in the corner. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I don't think I've mismarked anything. I think I am going to have to mark up possible 3 cells now and then move on to 4s. And I'm disappointed Disappointed in myself in that way. The trouble with this is that begins to look to my naked eye like a 2-3 pair, but I don't think it works that way. Anyway, can I really make any assumptions about 4s? 4s can't be in these. Okay, so let's start with 1s, 2s and 3s again. We'll go orange this time. Obviously 1s, 2s and 3s can't be 4s. That's just logic. Now, this is the only 3 I've actually fully marked in the grid. 4 can't go in those cells or that white one touching it, or that white one touching it, which is L. So L is not 4. I don't know which there. So one of these two is 4. And they both see that E cell, which is not 4. Actually, they both see that cell and that cell. But E is not 4, so that's not 4. Getting interesting now. Grey not touching 3 is not 4. I haven't really done this stuff yet. That is, oh no, it could be touching a 3. That's a grey not touching a 3. That's a grey not touching a 3 in its box. I should add that clarifying comment, in its box every time. And then white that must touch 3. Both, no, this one must touch 3. That one not, obviously. This one, if it was white and a 4, would touch a 3, so that's not possible. This one the same. This is getting slightly more traction than I'd expected. So L is not 4 because that is coloured. So both of those are orange as well. Now, it's 4 being in one of these. That seems the best effort I have. It's, N. Can N be 4? Let's just have a look what would happen to N if it was 4. Just because it quickly propagates around the grid. I can't really see what goes wrong with that. In fact, one of those two is N. I'm not going to mark that in, but I have noticed it now. This is, you see, I've run into trouble now. I didn't make enough deductions early on about 2s and then 3s and then 4s. That's the trouble. And they're going to be quite difficult to spot now that I've removed the colouring for those. It was a bit of a pipe dream hoping that 4 was going to clear it up, and it hasn't done it. Bother. So if that was a 4, that would be a 4. Then I don't know, oh, that would force this to be 3. Oh, I see, so it might be a combination of things. If that was a white 4, that couldn't be a 3. So that 4 would make that a 3. Oh, that's weird. Okay, maybe I've failed to do something like that with 3 and 2 earlier. Although I did actually sort of think I'd looked at the ways in which they were going to interact. I think this is the only way to look at the puzzle, but I'm not finding this at all easy, as you can see. Going to have to go back and think about 2s and 3s. So 2 is in one of those cells. That 3 would definitely be touching them. That 3, if that was a 3, that would have to be 2. Is that right? Yes, it would, to keep the 3 white. And that would be 3. And they see that doesn't work. There we go. If that was a 3, that would be where 2 had to be. That would put 3 here and 2 here, and there's nowhere for 2 in those positions. So that is not 3. That's interesting. Now one of those 2 is 3. That's not 3. And the 3 in column 7 is here. And they can go away. Now, is that going to do anything else? I mean, that's not 3. It's going to do little things. One of those is 3. No, that was interesting. 3 wasn't there. Oh, don't tell me that's all it did. Oh, now I can look at 4s again. 4 mustn't be in a grey cell not touching a 3, or in a white cell that is touching a definite 3. So 4 can't be here either, because that would put 3 here. So I'm in a tiny manner restricting my 4s a bit more. Oh, those, no, they're not the only 2 positions for 3. 3 could still be F. Naughty F. You're being annoying. I thought that was going to get us going again, and it absolutely didn't. Now, 3 has to be in one of those 2 cells, because it can't be in those 2. So this conclusion's good now. That is not a 3, therefore. So one of those is a 3. 4 can't be in that cell anymore. Picking away at cells one by one, it's frustrating because it doesn't really help. That was interesting about 3 and 2. Now, if that's 3, one of those is 2. This is white. I really haven't restricted 4s much, have I? N and G and F are still possible 4s. Not E and L and S. That 3 is not any, is no more helpful than I want. I mean, I want it to be more helpful is what I'm desperately trying to say. I don't know. Can that be a 3? That requires F to be a 3. That makes one of those a 3. One of those a 3, and not E, in fact. Oh, that's interesting. If that's a 3, this isn't 3, because then E isn't 3. Ah, so then it is F. And we've got 3 in those positions. Okay, this is getting interesting. But it kind of peters out again there. Oh, it doesn't do it. There's no knights move in what I've created there. Bother. Okay. I think we're one step away from really cracking into the guts of the puzzle. And I've got a lot of orange coloured. Okay, let's have another look at orange. So if that was a 4, then that's a 4. Then 4 is G, which doesn't appear anywhere else in the puzzle, so that's not very interesting. Ah, that makes that a 4. In box 8, there's a knight's move going on there that I hadn't seen. Then 4 is in one of those 2 cells. one of which would have an effect on 3 and be quite useful, therefore. 4 is also in one of those two cells, which is less useful, I think. And one of those two... it still just works. Does it? Yeah, it does. It does. Okay, so maybe that is 4. Now the alternative is that this middle cell is 4. Does that do something somewhere? Yes, it does. That puts 4 specifically here. And then it makes 4n. Okay, this middle cell doesn't work as 4 because it rules 4 out of those cells, puts it here, and then it would have to be n here, but we've just ruled it out of n there. So that is not a 4. That is orange. And this is a definite 4 now. Now what's that going to do? It's going to, okay, I mean, now colour the cells orange that it sees. That's the important thing to do. Otherwise, not actually using that. Right. Come on, 4, do something else. Those 3 all see that cell, so that goes orange. Those 2 see a couple of cells that are already orange, but one of them is a 4. It's either grey and it is touching 3, or it's white and it's not. Or maybe I need to suddenly put a string together in a box that only has grey cells. I hadn't even thought about that way of doing the puzzle for a long time. I mean, I did think about that at the beginning, but once I discovered that there were diagonal possibilities, that got less interesting in a hurry. So we've placed 4 here. Now, is there a way of still saying that n is not 4? Because it would be 4 in those positions. Oh, 3 is not 4. That's orange. Sorry, that's very obvious. One of these two is 4. 3 is E or F. How am I meant to use that? If 3 was E, one of those would be, that would be E. Ah! If 3 was E, oh, no, I'm talking absolute nonsense here. Thought I was going to work out that one of those couldn't be a 3, which would be interesting info if I could, but I don't think it was true. If E was 3, actually that has to be 3. No, it doesn't. 3 is there. 3 is there in box 5, you Muppet man. Oh, it's the same old merry-go-round as before. I'm not getting there. Am I missing something about the letters? So I got those L's. I got some L's. Oh, I could mark E in this central box. It's just available. It's right there. Ah, no, because it could be 3. So I didn't get E in the central box. Oh, I'll tell you what. Those can't be E because of that. Obviously, N, G, and L aren't E because they're different letters. So E is definitely in one of those two. Now, it can be 3. That's not necessarily E and 3. However, that then means that E has to be in one of these cells because E is not 2 and E can't be there by knight's move. So the only place for E in row 6 is there and E is 3. Oh, if you've been shouting that at the screen, you deserve a medal for effort. That is something I was not getting. E is 3, so that is E there. Now I'm going to get a bunch of, oh look, that can't be 3. 3 is in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. I'm going to make that orange straight away. That's not 3. I've placed 3 in box 1. That's 3. I think I just got rid. I will redo my orange colouring around 3s in a moment. But I can't finish them. However, that is not 3. F is not 3. This is now a 3-2 pair. And 3's in one of those. Okay. So now, white touching a 3. And grey not touching a 3 in its box are ruled out. White touching a 3 there. So one of these two is 4. Ooh, is 4 going to be numbered? Still got those two uncertain. Right, 4 is in one of those cells. Now none of these are 4s. Come on, 4. That is grey not touching 3, so that goes orange. So 4 is now either the bottom of that column or F. Oh, goodness gracious. Any of those could be 4. I think I've seen that combination around for a while in this puzzle. I'm going to get interrupted again in a minute. Sorry about that. Come on. We got a lot of progress on 4s. I'm actually probably prepared to mark up all the cells I've now got as potential. Oh no, N could be 4. In fact, one of those two is N. I worked that out earlier. So N is quite likely to be 4. That would make one of those two a 4. Don't know what's happening. That's not a 4 because it's grey and it's not touching the 3 in its box. Why can I not see that when it happens? So one of those two is a 4. Oh, and yeah, one of those 4. Right, if that's not a 4, then both of these are 4 in their row and column. And that's impossible, because that would take 4 positions out of box 8. So that is a 4. Because if it wasn't, that's the 4 in row 3, that's the 4 in column 7, and you can't put 4 in box 8. Lovely. So that is a 4. Now, we get a bit more orange out of that. That's the bits I see immediately. Now there's a 4 in one of those two cells, and therefore not there. One of these is 4. I'm certainly prepared to pencil mark that. Now one of these two is 4. Whichever of these are 4 are going to sort each other out. No bother. But N still can be, and G can be, and that can be. This one can't be, because that would put it in N there, 4, and N there. That's impossible. So that's not a 4. So 4 is either N or G, definitely. It's a digit with a number, with a letter. But I'm still a bit stuck. But I have pencil marked all my possible 4s in remaining boxes now. And now I'm going to remove all the orange colouring and try doing 5s. Let's use bright blue. 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s are not possible. Now, 5 cannot be in a white cell touching a 4 in its box. There are none of those. But in a grey cell not touching a... Oh, well, hang on. There really aren't. Oh, it can't be there, because that would be a white cell touching a 4, or there. That might be significant. Anyway, white also cannot be in a grey cell definitely not touching its 4 in a box. And there are a few more of those. Oh, there were a few more of those, and they've disappeared there. Okay, so it can't be in those. So I've ruled out some positions for 5. Is there any row, column, or box that is really interesting now, or a giveaway? And it looks like the answer is no. Have I coloured any letters? Yes, I've coloured an L. So L's can't be blue. If that was a 5, it would now make that a 5 and that a 5. And that would make N a 4. That's quite interesting. Oh, those aren't blue either. So 5's in one of those. Sorry, those are blue because they're not 5. 5's in one of those. They all see that cell, so which I'd seen that L isn't a 5 earlier. They all see this cell, so that's not a 5. Do they all see something else? I can't tell. One of these is a 5. In fact, oh no, I was going to say they're 5, 6, 7, 8. I haven't done anything with 9s yet. Okay, come on, 5. Be the thing that gives the whole game away. Why not? Why not be nice to me? That can't be a 5. F can't be a 5 because it would be touching a 4 and it would be white. So now I've only got 2 positions in column 4 again for 5, but it rather depends on where 4 is, does it? Well, if that was 4, that would be 5, and that would be 4. But if that was 5, that would be 4, and that would be 4. No, I can't see how that does it. Column 4 and column 6 have both looked very interesting and not quite delivered any goods there. If that was 5, that would be where 4 went. And there, and that doesn't do anything. Oh, Mark, you can't see what's going on in this puzzle. Not so hard, said Stephen. It is to me. This is a very hard puzzle. In my estimation. My goodness, I'll be fascinated to know if you're just flying along and you don't understand why I'm having problems and you're just shouting at the screen. It is not obvious to me how you proceed here. Should I have finished 2s and 3s? I don't see how. If that's a 3, it's fine. I don't see how. Those are valid positions for 2s. Oh, L can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if L was here, it could be a 5 touching a 4. Actually, no, it can't. It could there. It can't here. That's a shaded cell. L can't be a 5 because it wouldn't be touching its 4. So L is at least 6. So yes, we knew that 5 was... Yes, I've marked that L can't be a 5. So if this is L, it's at least 6. Oh, but then it could touch its lower digit in one of those two. It doesn't have to go there. That's a pity. That is a pity. Do I think about N again? N being 4 seems very likely still. Then that's an N, that's an N. One of those two, one of those two. They're an X-wing on N's. That's an N, so that sorts out the X-wing. And that, obviously, sorry, that one is the final one. And that would be the position of N's if they're 4s. And that would all work fine. annoyingly. Could I do more on L's? Have I just not thought enough about L's? I had one of those 3 and I don't see how that's changed. Well, if that was 2 and 3, that would have to be L. Then we'd have L's here and here. Sorry, got the wrong one there, obviously. Oh, I keep missing the cell. And that would be L if we had a 2-3 pair in the corner. And that would accord with 2-3 in row 3. Bother. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. It does seem to be case testing, and if there's something more holistic, I'd really be interested to know how you're meant to look at this puzzle in a slightly better way than I'm achieving. So if that is 4, 4 is there. This is all I can really do. Then 4 is there. 4's in one of those 2 and must be there. 4 we've obviously got in the top end boxes. That can't be 4 by knight's move. So we'd have these positions for 4. Oh, well, that's... They are quite limited. In fact, that I'm going to flash them orange. Because that's where 4 goes if G's 4. And if N is 4, and it has to be one of N or G in box 4, then you've got 4 in these positions. Oh, and look, one of them is the same there. 1, 2, 1, 2, but that's 4. Lots of them are the same. Look, of these positions that are where 4 goes if N is 4, 3 of them are flashed. So those actually are 4s. Oh, look. Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm so slow here. The really simple way to do that is not to do complicated flashing shading. It's to say 4 is either N or G, so it's not F. Total numptitude. Right, sorry about that. Anyway, there's 4, so that's not 4. And in fact, that's not 4. This is 4. That stops this being 4. Now, I'm sure I could make one of those be 4 by this method, and I'd better keep achieving that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back to that flashing method again, which I don't want to. Oh, bother. But maybe I can do more on 5s now. I'm colouring for 5s, aren't I? And I've got a couple more 4s in the grid. Well, 4s themselves are blue. So the 5 in box 2 is there. We've got a 5. And that sees a few cells which go blue. And now 5 is in one of those 2 cells in box 3, and one of those 2 in box 1. So those aren't blue. One of those 2's a 5. They both see that, so N is not a 5. I can cross out both my N's. There aren't that many. This is 5. Come on, 5. One of those 2 is 5. I'm going to pencil mark that in. One of those 3. Oh, come on. One of those 3. Now, but also, I haven't been thinking about 5 not being allowed in certain places vis-a-vis 4. So that can't be 5, because it would be on white and it would be touching a 4 now. So there have been some changes. That can't be 5. because it would be grey and not touch 4. So that's the 5 in the central column, and that isn't. That is blue. In fact, that 5 sees quite a number of cells. And we get 5 in column 6. And that sees even more. And we get 5 in box 9, where it must touch 4. And that's going to help with 4. I'm feeling good about this. 4 has become G, not N. Not there. 5 is in one of those 2 cells. It can't be here because that's a white cell and it would be touching 4, so 5 is there. Now 5's in one of those 2, and we've fixed it in box 1, where it's going to fix 2 onto it here. 3 and 2 are fixed in box 2. That is going to fix 3 and 2 in box 3. We get another 3 in the corner. Thank you, Abdul the Killer, for that. 5 is fixed now there. Oh, this had better be right. One of these is a 5. It's not N, because N is blue over there. So that's the 5. That's a 5, and that's not. I think, are all my 5s done? Look at that, they are. So I must be able to finish the 4s, surely. Got 2 more to do. They're in little X-wings. That 5 is not allowed to touch a 4 there. So those 2 are the remaining 4s. And that wasn't L. 4 isn't L, so this is L. There we go. So now L's in one of those 2. I don't know what that is. I'm going to get interrupted. That's really annoying at this point. This has become L, in fact. Again, I can do some L-ing. There we go. So that's L. Might as well finish off my L's. And that's L. And that's all my L's marked. But what I need to think about is not so much L as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which ought to be done in every box, and R. So let's get rid of blue now. We've done the job with blue. We want to think about 6s, which are in remaining cells, aren't allowed to be in white touching 5 in their box, remember, in their box. So that's all of those. And they're not allowed to be in grey not touching 5. So that would be that one and that one, and those 2, that's interesting. And those 2, that's very interesting. And that one are all orange. Now in box 9 we can place 6. It's got to be here. I don't know. 6 is L or S. No, it's not. It's in one of those 2 cells in box thingy, box 7. So 6 is S. It's not L, so one of those is 6. One of those, it's not N though, so it's there. Then by knight's move we get it in box 5. By knight's move and everything we get it in box 2. That sees that one. Have we not? Yes, we have got it here in box 6. So we've got it in column 7, and we've got it in row 2, and we've got it in the whole grid. Now let's get rid of orange, because we were doing 6 with orange. 7 is not allowed to be away from 6 in grey. There, so it's not L, which is quite interesting for 7. Wow, so we can place 7 somewhere, I saw. Here, that's a 7. That's a 7. That's a 7. N is 7. That's a 7. That's a 7. Oh, okay. Now, L can't be 9 because it would be oh no, that's a grey cell. This can't be 9 because it would be touching an 8 and it's white. So this is 8 and L is 9. Oh, look, I do get all the L's highlighted now. So L is 9, this one is 8, and hopefully Sudoku finishes off the puzzle now. Actually, let's get rid of the blue because I'm not quite sure what job it was doing anymore. It seems to have found 8 9s, in fact. 8 there, 8, 7. I am going to finish just before I get interrupted. Oh no, I've got an 8, 7 X-wing. Oh, bother, I'm going to have to use the rule. This one can't, no, I don't know. This one can't be 7 because it's touching the 6. There we go, this must be right. Wow, 1 hour, tiny interruption. That was not easy, Stephen, but thank you for the recommendation. Great fun. Thanks for watching. Not interrupted in the end. See you soon. Bye for now.